I am Sarah. I read as Sora the Intuitive for Sky Messages by Sora. I am a tarot reader who specializes in past life readings. I also teach and mentor the tarot. I have two journals, one for learning the tarot and one for more learning yourself and deepening the connection with your deck. That one's a collaboration with Killer Pancake, who makes a couple of the decks I'll be reviewing. The reason I started this channel, and specifically this series, the tarot review series, is that I really want people to be able to have a connection. I want anyone who wants to do the tarot to be able to learn it. And a lot of times people get really frustrated because the first deck that they start using, they don't really connect with. And so I'm hoping that instead of getting frustrated or spending a lot of money on decks that they then realize they don't want, people can sort of start to learn what their style is, what theme they're looking for, what kind of imagery works for them, and help people find the right decks for them. I do believe that if there is a tarot deck out there, there is an audience for it. And if there is somebody who wants to learn, then there's definitely a deck for them. So this won't have star ratings. This won't be about what's good and bad. It'll be about the details, such as the guidebook, a level that it's good for, like basic to advanced. It will be, how close it is to the Rider-Waite or the Tarot de Marseille, or the Thoth for those who prefer that. And it will just give people a look and hopefully help them start to begin their journey. Or for those of us who have been on their journey for a while but are thinking about new decks and testing out different things, give them a preview. So there are some of the decks behind me, but if there are any you're interested in, let me know, and let's get started. For this week's tarot deck review, we are doing the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Sturl. Huge fan. I have been a huge fan of this deck since long before I got it, and there's actually a super fun story about how I got it, but I was really excited for this one. The box is fantastic. It's nice, it's sturdy, it fits it and kind of compactly, so it's great to keep around. The little book is great because it's small, but it does have examples for every card. And there are multiple spreads, so depending on what you're looking for, how much time you want to spend doing a reading, how much skill you have, how comfortable you are, there is something in there I think that you'd be able to use. Before I continue, I'm just going to throw in right now that I will be starting another series as kind of an offshoot of the tarot deck reviews, where I will be testing the spreads. So I will be doing real readings for real people using these spreads and those decks to see how well they really work. So starting with decks that I've already reviewed, I will be hopefully putting this out soon. If that's something you have interest in, want to know more information about, feel free to head over to the website, sign up for the newsletter, that sort of thing. And on to the cards. Usually I pull these cards out before I go into the review, but I love that this is what they do instead of just a advertisement or something there. They've got their little message. I just really love that. The cards are great stock. They're nice and thick, but really easy to shuffle. They're a great size for my hands. They're kind of the current standard for tarot right now. For a while they were a lot bigger, but in recent years they've been more like this. So still bigger than playing cards, but what I think of as like the current standard size, which I love. The suits are the standard. The wands, the cups, pentacles, and swords. I'm shaking the table. But the artwork is much more up to date. It uses a lot of the same symbolism, which is really nice. If you're someone who has gone through and learned the different symbols as a way to remember meanings, which is, you know, one really great method. It's really nice for that. If you're a Rider-Waite person, they kept to a lot of those same things while updating it and making it more inclusive. They have a lot of really beautiful versions of these cards, and I'm just in love with the artwork. In terms of court cards, they use the standard page, knight, queen, and king. And they definitely look at the cards more as the energy than as the title, which you may have noticed with the Emperor. This is a great deck for people who use the Rider-Waite, especially if they don't necessarily connect with the older imagery. Because as I said before, the pieces are there, but they are done in just a more modern, more accessible kind of way. I think they're really, really beautiful. They're great for anyone who is looking for a real inclusive and diverse deck versus there are some out there that kind of promise that, but you don't have the same thing. You have mostly, you know, a couple cards that feel very tokeny. And this just, it's a lot more dynamic. A little bit more color. I would say any level. As good as the guidebook is, if you are very much a beginner, you probably want to have a couple of other resources with it. But it is a deck that would be very easy to learn with on its own, or along with another Rider-Waite. But you wouldn't necessarily need another deck to get the imagery and understanding of it. So I think that's really nice for beginners, but it's also great for advanced, for intuitive readers. If you're more of a playing card reader, then it's kind of whatever your connection is to the Rider-Waite here. And so I want to show the Ten of Cups as well as, I mean the Ten of Swords as well as the bonus Ten of Swords. So you have that, and then you have this one, that everything is fine. And I just love that because people forget how you get into the Ten of Swords situation sometimes. The Ten of Swords is not just a card of endings. It is a card of ending something you did not want to end, but should have been ended. You see whatever she started out with, let's say a relationship, being that she's on the phone and doing the texting, and it started out great. And just slowly the bar got lower and lower and lower. And she's in a place that she never would have started out in, but she sort of accepted it so that everything is fine. It's just such a great way of understanding the Ten of Swords. So I'm going to shuffle, do a little week ahead message. While I do that, I want to thank you for liking, subscribing, hitting the notification button, sharing with friends who you think could benefit. I do personal readings, so you can check those out in the link below if you want to set one up. I work remotely or in person if you are in Pittsburgh. I can do remote to anywhere, but if you want me in person, then you're going to want to be in the Pittsburgh area or be okay with travel costs. I do events as well, and I will be at the Bitchcraft in Pittsburgh September 25th, so if you are in the area, also feel free to come see me there. For these videos, bonus videos, extra content, and other kind of perks, you can head over to my Patreon. And for various examples and other information, head to the website or social media. I am source guide messages on all of it. I do have 2 journals for learning the tarot and for connecting with your deck and yourself. We've got a jumper. All right. And that information can be found there as well. So we're gonna start with a jumper and then do 3 cards. So we have the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. So this is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. One is that I don't shuffle so that things go in reverse, so when they do, it's a big deal. And 2, because the 7 of Pentacles has been showing up a lot and now it's in reverse, so there's kind of that change to the flow of energy. The 7 of Pentacles can be very much about nurturing something, but it can also be about focusing so hard on that one thing that you don't see all the other opportunities, essentially. So having it in reverse kind of says that you're starting to look around, that you are continuing to work on whatever that main passion or that main job or that main source of resources and that you love, but you're also starting to see the things that are going around you. If you are a small business person, this can be adding a couple more streams or another product. If this is in a relationship, I wouldn't say it's necessarily finding other people so much as reworking your idea of how time together needs to look, or what you're giving versus what you need. Feels more like a business thing, but we have that with the Hierophant. These are interesting together because the Hierophant asks you to really reflect on your traditions and your beliefs and why they are there and whether they are what they've always been for you. If you are continuing to do things because they matter to you, or if you are continuing to do things because that's how you've always done them. That's why I love that with that reverse 7 of Pentacles, because upright, the 7 of Pentacles says, you know, to push on, or asks if you're focusing too much in one direction. So as it opens up in that reversal, it opens up all of those ideas, all of those whys, all of that. Should I continue to do it this way? Should I look at different things because of who you are versus because of what's working, what's not working? It becomes more a matter of what's working for you. What would you do differently? We have that with the 10 of Pentacles, a card of legacy, of putting yourself out there, of understanding that you have enough. This can be getting to a point in terms of a resource that you are able to start making those decisions, start diversifying a little bit. You know, it's easy to talk about not having all your eggs in one basket, but if you only have one egg, it's only going in one basket. So the Ten of Pentacles can indicate that you're getting to the point where you have a little bit more flexibility with your money or your time. And so you can start exploring, start pushing, and start just taking the next step. You know, it doesn't have to be a big risk. It doesn't have to be a big dive into something. It's so much as understanding that you've got a little bit more freedom and kind of working with that. And finally, we have that with the Six of Cups. This is a card of good memories. There's a nostalgia to it. It is one of the cards that I often get a little frustrated with because it's got that nostalgia idea to it. But usually it looks more like you're just enjoying a couple of kids. So I love how she is passing on that hope with the stars and the cup, because it does have that aspect to it, but it also has some of the other pieces to the Six of Cups, which is that looking back fondly and that looking at what you've had, what you want to pass on, what you want to give to others, and what you want to change. Especially when you look at it with the Ten of Pentacles, which is also that card of legacy. So with the Hierophant saying, who are you? Is it exactly who you were? And the Ten of Pentacles saying, and how do you want to leave it? That Six of Cups is this beautiful bridge so that you can take all the wonderful things about past relationships, childhood, just anything, those experiences, you can keep all the good stuff and you can pass that on while making the changes so that it's even better. So that you're growing the good and making it better. And it reminds me of that Baz Luhrmann, the Wear Sunscreen, and they talk about how advice is cleaning up, taking something, cleaning up the ugly parts and wrapping it up. And I love that because while there's a lot of reflection here, it's not stuck in one place. It's asking you to look at your situation from the whole picture. It's asking you how you've grown, how you want to continue to grow, how you want to share that. So it's very upbeat, and very look at how far you've come, and very encouraging. So this week, I encourage you to do the same thing, to look at where you came from, what you loved about it, how far you've come, how you've grown, and what you can do to continue to grow and share that, so that you can get the most out of your experiences and you can also help others get the most out of theirs. Have a really wonderful week. Thank you so much.